Hey everyone, it's Harry from Slapyodaddybbq. Today I am doing a viewer request. A lot of you have asked me, Harry, can you take an inexpensive brisket, like say the one from Walmart, which is not the highest quality here? Can you make your own beef injection instead of buying the ones that are commercially available, like the ones you see me use in my competition brisket videos? Can you use some ingredients that you can find in Walmart or the online stores and replicate the umami flavor, mirroring some traditions going back about the 2000 years to isolate some of the components for flavor, create your own injection, don't have to buy the ones from the store, make an ordinary Walmart brisket taste fantastic? Well, if you're looking for that kind of episode, you come to the right place. We're going to show you guys all the tricks and tips on how to take a regular Walmart brisket, which is probably a select grade, into something that will mirror or get close to a competition style brisket. Before I start and explain how we prepare the injection for the beef injection we're going to use for a lower quality brisket to make it get too close to competition, I need to give you a primer on flavors and how flavors are developed for food and for competition cooking. This is going to be really boring if you're not a kind of nerdy person like I am. I'm naturally curious and extremely nerdy and a science geek. So I'm going to launch into a sort of a mini TED Talk on the 3 powerful flavor compounds. A lot of people are not interested at all in what I have to say. So if you are from that camp, please fast forward this video to the point where we actually start cooking, because this is going to be a super nerdy chat about some of the components of flavor. I know you guys have complained to me in the past in my video, Harry, you talk too much and you share too much nerdy science detail. But hey, I can't help myself. It's my channel, so I feel free to explain any area I want, because I know some of you out there are just like me, super nerdy, wanting to know everything, because I am not interested in what and how. I'm always asking why. When I was growing up, I used to drive my teachers insane because Harry would always want to know why. So that's curiosity helped me win 100+ first places, many first place USA awards. So I'm going to show you guys the method and the mind behind my madness. So stay tuned. I'm fascinated by flavors and I always want to know why some things taste better than others. What is it that you can engineer to create a chef-like flavor or a competition flavor that wins contest? So let me go and tell you the story about the Japan. So this is kombu seaweed from Japan. So the Japanese have been using kombu seaweed for thousands of years in soups and stews and soup stocks and dashi to make their soup and bases taste super delicious. What this component is, if you look here, there's like a white powder here. Let me see, the light is better here. You can see the white powder. So Professor Ikeda at the University of Tokyo in 1908 isolated this white powder. And he found out that this white powder is a very powerful flavor compound that gives you called a umami or deliciousness flavor. And he formed a company called Ajinomoto. And Ajinomoto manufactures a product which is a white powder like this called monosodium glutamate, MSG. All right, I already know you guys are kind of rolling your eyeballs upwards. Okay, Harry, MSG will kill ya. No, it will not. So I hate to tell you this, but if you were breastfed as a child and you drank your mother's milk, you basically had the first taste in your mouth was MSG. Human mother's milk has about 8 times the concentration of glutamic acid in it as the next mammal in the mammal kingdom. So the researchers in the University of San Diego found out that you have taste receptors in your mouth for MSG. When MSG binds to the taste receptor in your mouth, you have 8,000 taste buds. Your brain says, wow, man, that's really super tasty. So if you ever had cheeseburgers and the cheese dripping on the burger and it's super delicious, that's because the MSG is in the cheese and the burger. If you have Parmesan cheese, you had Doritos, you have McNuggets, on and on and on and on, right? So MSG is naturally occurring. Your body actually produces about 50 grams of MSG. You have about 2 kilos in your body. So it's glutamic acid, one of the 20 amino acids on earth. When combined with the sodium salt, results in a white powder. I'll show you guys a white powder here. So, okay, looks like salt, right? White powder. If you taste it, you're gonna get that umami flavor. So I'm not gonna get into a heated debate to you as to whether this is good or bad or what it will do to you. It'll fry your brains. If you're allergic to MSG, don't eat it. So again, stay away from hamburgers, stay away from marinara sauce, stay away from soy sauce, stay away from Worcestershire, stay away from burgers, stay away from Caesar salad. Don't eat any of those things because they all contain the same thing. So whether you get it naturally from the seaweed, you scrape it off, or you drain it in water, or you buy the salt of it from the store, it's the same chemical. So knock yourself out if you don't like MSG. I'm going to put MSG into my injection. Second class of flavor components is also from Japan. The Japanese have been using something called katsuobushi, which is the little flakes that you see on top of your sushi roll when you're in the Japanese restaurant. And that's the one that kind of curls on top of your maki roll, and it's actually fish flakes. So this is a chemical called inosine. Inosine comes from the skipjack tuna. And the Japanese have a 400-year tradition of drying, processing, smoking, fermenting the skipjack tuna. And then they scrape it into these little flakes, which you put into your broth to make dashi soup. And this is extremely, extremely flavorful because it contains a chemical called inosine. So whether you get the inosine from skipjack tuna, or you look into any of these rubs out here. Let me find one example here. You'll find, let's see here, monosodium glutamate is here. Let's see here, we have, see here. Can't see, I don't have my glasses on, so I hope you can see this, right? But you'll see they here, let's see here, you'll see inosinates in here. Yeah, inosinate and a guanylate, right? Same thing here. You're gonna see the same thing here. You have better eyesight than me, I don't have my glasses on. Let's see here. So you can see same thing here. Ingredients. You see the same thing here. Hope it's focusing. Yeah. Yep. Inosinates. So inosinates come from the tuna flakes. I'm too lazy to kind of pound this together, which I've done in previous videos. I just buy the powder. This one is another very powerful ingredient. Umami going back at least 2,000 years. The Chinese have been drying mushrooms. And the mushrooms have tremendous flavor. You always wonder when you have beef Wellington, they have that black mushroom paste that's sauteed in white wine and vinegar and butter in it. The reason that the beef Wellington is so delicious beneath the crust is when you cut into the filet mignon, the flavor comes from the black mushrooms that sauteed, which is going to be a chemical called guanylate. So when the guanylates are combined with the sodium salt, you get disodium guanylate. And this is a very powerful flavor compound. So you can buy these two, sodium inosinate and guanylate, in a white powder like this. So I buy this when I need to make injections, or I teach my classes on how we get flavors. I have chefs from all around the world come to my class. I show them kind of the breakdown of flavor. And you know me, I'm a total quack. I have no credential in cooking, but hey, you know, the people who don't know can teach it. So that's what I'm doing. And I have hundreds of first places to prove that this works. So that's the recap, right? Monosodium glutamate wakes up the flavor, which is true. The idea behind this product actually is that Professor Ikeda had altruistic objectives. The Japanese were very poor, so they didn't have money to buy meat. So he wanted to find a chemical that you could add to vegetables and rice to make it more meat-like. So this Ajinomoto company was formed by Professor Ikeda, became a very, very famous company in the world. After World War II, the US discovered MSG because it made the sea rations kind of tasty. And the rest of the world learned what MSG is. It's called essence of flavor. So today you can wake up the flavor with just a little bit of white powder like that. You don't have to. You can use a kombu seaweed. It's also fine. If you don't want to use MSG in this cooking episode, that's also fine. If you don't want to use katsuobushi or dry shiitake mushrooms, you can use the powder. That's why folks like this idiot here, Harry Soo, when he sells his rub, he puts the powdered shiitake mushrooms, and now you understand why, even revealing his secrets. This is the range of rubs that I'm partnering with Jealous Devil. We're going to try to launch it, get it in the stores near you, so you don't have to keep buying from Amazon and complain about the shipping. You can get it from the regular Walmart or Home Depot whenever they start stocking my product in the store. All right, I digress. Where was I? So all you need to do is add 3 ingredients: MSG, inosine and guanylate or white powder into a can of beef broth, and you have the basis of cooking your injection products. Now, a very important component is, I need to mention this one called sodium phosphate. What the hell is sodium phosphate? Sodium phosphate is found as the primary ingredient in all the injections. Sodium phosphate is the first ingredient. Sodium phosphate is the first ingredient. Sodium phosphate is the first ingredient, and sodium phosphate is the first ingredient. What is sodium phosphate? Sodium phosphate is a chemical that allows the meat to retain moisture. It plumps up the meat. It's an emulsifier. It's found in a lot of foods, right? Such as McNuggets and so on. So we're gonna add a little bit of sodium phosphate. So 4 ingredients, right? Sodium phosphate, some MSG, some inosine from the skipjack tuna, from guanylate from the shiitake mushroom, and I buy the white powder that's already the pure form of this, so I don't have to mix it up. And we're gonna put it into a can of Campbell's beef broth, and we're gonna shoot up the brisket and get ourselves a fantastic result from a Walmart low-grade brisket. Let's cut to the chase and let's get on with the show. Let's go ahead and make the injection. You guys wanted this episode, so here you are. I start with beef broth here, about 10.5 ounces of beef broth. Pour it into a can. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of some phosphate, sodium phosphates. And this is one from Butcher Barbecue. Here he makes the phosphates. It's available, easily available. It's not a very hard to find chemical. It's used a lot in food products. 2 tablespoons of phosphate in here. We're gonna add some of this thing called MSG, monosodium glutamate. For those of you who are already complaining that this is too many chemicals, just skip this episode completely. Go watch my other 30 how to cook brisket videos to amuse yourself. If you're not amused, there's another 250 other videos you can watch on my channel covering a wide range of topics. All right, so next one is MSG. We're gonna put in about that much, yay much. Yay much means, I don't know how you call this one, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. I have a measuring thing here. This one is called a tad, a smidgen, a pinch, and a dash. So I have no idea. But that yay much in yay much of Campbell's broth soup. This is a teaspoon, so teaspoon wise, I would say, I don't know, maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG, like so. And then the next one, you're gonna add the disodium inosine or guanylate, this one here. You can buy this from a food service store. I bought this online, not very expensive at all. And this will last me probably 3 lifetimes. I don't use a lot of that. You use just a tiny, tiny amount of this. It's called a smidgen, I believe, right? Smidgen, close enough? Smidgen? Yeah, so about a smidgen of this. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a 1/10 of a teaspoon. Just a little touch like that. A little bit of chemical goes a long way. I'm just gonna stir it up. You can blend it also if you like, but this dissolves fairly easily. Okay, let's trim up the brisket and inject it and continue on with the cook. Let's do a quick brisket trim. So this is a 14 pound brisket from Walmart. And it doesn't say what grade it is, but I have to guess it's probably a select brisket, which is of the lower quality. In America, there's actually 8 grades of beef. You know the 3 top ones, prime, choice, and select. But beneath that is another 5 different grades like cookie cutter, canna, commercial, utility, and so on. But you don't have to worry about those. Those are more academic. Those are not used for food. They're used to make animal food, beef stock, and stuff like that. You notice I threw away the purge. I never wash any of my meat in the sink. So please don't wash your meat in the sink. If you want to know why, you can see the link in the video description. I have plenty of links to the USDA sites to why you don't never wash meat. We do a quick trim of it. You've seen this many times. We're gonna trim off all the excess fat here. This is a packer brisket. It's a full-size brisket comprising of the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor muscle, aka the point and the flat. So the flat is this part here, the point is on this side. This is a left-handed brisket. The way you know is because the brisket is curving to the right, therefore it sits on the left breast. So like my sweetheart always say, these are cow boobs muscles, or the Arnold Schwarzenegger muscle of a cow. I'm just trimming away the fat. You notice I have my hand underneath the brisket when I'm trimming. That bows the brisket, makes it easier to trim. You need a sharp knife. I'm using a Dalstrong Quantum Series knife. This knife is available on my Amazon store if you're interested in getting it. Dalstrong is my sponsor, so they send me a bunch of nice knives after they saw me mangling meat on my channel using the wrong kind of knife. They decided, hey, this guy cooks a lot, let's send him some knives. I actually have like 50 knives, but they're never sharp, so I end up always buying new knives after they get dull. I shouldn't do that. I should learn how to sharpen knives. One of my students, his name is Ricky Tran, he runs a channel called Perfection. He taught me how to sharpen knives. I just have not had time to find time to sharpen knives because between my day job, cooking barbecue for you guys on weekends, there isn't much time left. But maybe I'll do a massive knife sharpening episode and then show you guys how I sharpen my knife. I have some of the best sharpening stones, Chosera, 90-watt Chosera from Japan. They're $700 a piece, and I will show you guys how I sharpen my knives when I get around to doing it. Okay, trim off the meat, the excess fat here. So again, there's a lot of oxidation here. This is caused by the hot water wash after the animal is slaughtered. Nothing to do with the meat going bad at all, but I just like to trim away some of it. Same here, a little bit of hot wash oxidation here going on. See here, it's nice and pink. This side is kind of dull due to the hot wash. You can see that color here. Just a little bit of knife safety. You notice when I'm using a knife, I always have my hand behind the blade, so don't have your hand in front of the blade. I like to trim off all the fat from the fat cap so that I can create beautiful burn ends on the point muscle, but you can trim it any way you like. It doesn't really matter. I see a ligament here, see it right here, so trim this off. Trim is done. Let's go ahead and inject the brisket using a syringe. If you like the syringe I use, you can buy this on Amazon. Just get some beef fat on it first. Beef Vaseline. You can inject it about 10 ounces into this Walmart brisket. I'm gonna go with the grain, like so. Fill up the pores, put your finger, go over another inch, inject it, slowly see it ooze out. Push a little bit out, check some more. Once it's full, move in another inch or so, fill it up with injection. And just repeat in 1 inch increments in a grid throughout the brisket. Now, people always ask me, Harry, you like to inject with the grain. What about injecting against the grain? Yes, you can do anything you want because everything in barbecue is a 3-hour argument and a Jerry Springer fist fight. So knock yourself out. I won first place USA in the brisket category, doing exactly what I'm showing you. So this method worked for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. If you already do it better than me, don't need to follow me. Just do it your way. You know, doesn't really matter. So long as you get the results you want. I'm gonna fill it up with about 10 ounces of injection liquid. And make sure that it's nicely, evenly distributed across the whole brisket. Alright, make sure you also inject the point muscle. Okay, you can apply any rub you want to the brisket. I'm just gonna go with my first place USA beef rub. This rub has really been good to me. It's got a lot of ingredients like shiitake mushroom, maple sugar, citric acid, a whole bunch of other secret ingredients that I've used to win first place USA in the brisket category. Rancher's Reserve Cup, national champion. And it's really done well for a lot of teams also who are using it on the comp circuit. You put about a nice thick even layer coat of rub on it. So get some underneath here. Get some on this side also, the back side. And it's got even like details like 1 centimeter holes. I went to great lengths to source the cover for my rub because the normal holes, the 7 holes won't ever work. So this is much better. This is what I use to get the best results from my products. So this attention detail is pretty crazy, but That's how you win first place USA in so many different categories, by paying excruciating detail to all the things you need to know and need to do right. Okay, nice even coat here. Cover up. We'll try to get this Walmart brisket into a championship status by applying the injection, the award-winning rub, some good cooking technique, because you've heard me say many times, at the end of the day, it's never about the pit, it's always about pitmaster. You should be able to get results regardless of the kind of equipment you have. You can use a shovel with chicken wire with a hole in the ground and get great results. Folks at Dalstrong sent me a Dalstrong Shogun series slicer. They saw me using a chef knife to butcher my brisket, so they say, Harry, you need to learn how to use nice knives. Very thanks to Dalstrong for sending me the slicer. This is a beautiful Grafton edge slicer with the Damascus blade. So overall, it's a pass, and you can use my homemade injection method to inject your Walmart brisket. I think it's gonna be a much better brisket than if you had just cooked it straight from Walmart without the injection. I find that if you do a backyard style on a lower grade brisket without the injection process, the flavor just isn't so pronounced. This one is pretty good. As I did in my previous video, how would I rate this compared to a competition style brisket, full-on comp? With a good grade of brisket, it's gonna be about 70% of what you can get with a really good comp level brisket, either a prime Angus, Angus Black, or a Wagyu. Right? So this is pretty good considering that it is a relatively inexpensive brisket. You can take it home with a can of beef broth and a couple of different other additions. You can make your Walmart brisket kind of up a notch using a homemade injection if you don't want to go and buy a commercial injection. Commercial injection is probably, I don't know, maybe about $10, and that powder will go a long way. So, kind of pick your poison. You want to make your own injection, buy a commercial one. I'll leave the link in the video description below on the injections I like. I review about 8 or 9 of them on the marketplace. They all pretty much work because they all use a chemical called sodium phosphate, which essentially plumps up the meat and increases the space between the microfibrils of protein, allowing the salty brine to enter. They all have a little bit of beef flavoring. They all have a little bit of chemicals that are umami based, including inosinic, guanolates, and MSG. So you can do the natural way. I have a video actually where I cook a brisket using the kombu seaweed, using the mushrooms, and using the katsubushi bonito flakes. So if you want to go watch that, you can check out my brisket playlist. So enough talking from my part now. The most important thing is Mr. Beans is staring at me, looking for his brisket treat. So let me prep up his little treat, give him a little bit of a point, give him a little bit of flat, and see what Mr. Beans thinks of a Walmart homemade brisket injection cook-off here. All right, time for Brisket Dog to do his little sampling here. Sit, stay. So I have a Walmart brisket here, beans, for you to try. It's made with a homemade beef injection with a few things that mimic the ones for commercial injection, like sodium phosphate. So take your time. Wait. All right, go ahead. Oh, he picks the flat, takes a bite of it, seems to like it, takes another bite off the point, and he's finishing and gobbling on the plate. What do you think, Beans? Pretty good, right, for a Walmart brisket? A little bit of a black belt hack here using a homemade beef injection. A little bit of sodium phosphate, plump up the meat, create moisture, retain the tenderness. I think he likes it. Look, it's all gone. Licking the plate dry. I know you want more, Beans, but gotta ration you. Can't feed you too much brisket. Not sure if it's good for a dog to have so much brisket, but I know you love it, right? So because that's why you are a brisket dog. All right, I'm here with the guys. These are the superheroes of Diamond Bar who take care of the neighborhood. They got some Slap Your Daddy love, and we got them some brisket. There's a whole hog in there also. I cook a whole hog.
Wow.
And there's going to be a LA style brisket and a Texas style brisket. So you got two kinds of brisket today. All right, man.
Social distance.
Enjoy, guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Hey, folks. Thanks for stopping by and watching my little Walmart brisket injection episode. I want you guys to stay safe, stay home, and stay alive. Until the next video.